Hello and welcome to Dirtbaggery Book Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the fourth book in the Galaxy's Edge series, Attack of Shadows by Nick Cole and Jason Anspach, published by Wargate. Before we get into the video, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and take a look down in the description for an Amazon affiliate link. If by the end of this video you are interested in picking this book up, you can order it there. Now, I gotta say, Nick and Jason love to mess around with their narrative styles in these Galaxy's Edge books. Attack of Shadows is a massive collection of a bunch of different POVs. Spoiler alert, a bunch of them don't make it.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Single chapters bounce around between multiple characters on both sides of this conflict, but are always a part of the same singular scene in the battle. This narrative style and the use of POV doesn't really give you a strong connection to any one character, but it does introduce a lot of new ones while giving us a to-the-point understanding of why they are doing what they're doing, and in so doing, telling us what kind of person these characters are. With so many POVs, despite the large death toll, I'm excited to see these characters come back later and maybe get to spend a little bit more time with them when they aren't in the middle of a fever-pitched battle to the death, because I kind of want to know these people. All right, so Operational Downfall and the Republic's reputation are basically the main characters of the story, despite the myriad of POV characters that are in here. There's a lot of characters, they don't all make it to the end, and we shift through the perspectives quite rapidly as there's a lot of things happening at once in this battle from different areas, from up above the atmosphere, in the space battles, inside the destroyers, inside individual fighters, on the ground, storming shipyards, storming bases, attacking orbital guns. It's just, there's a ton of things going on all at once. So you don't get really attached to any one character, as I said. All of this works together to make the Operational Downfall and the Republic's reputation the main characters of this story. So, in my opinion, if you're looking for a story where you're going to get really attached to individual characters, this might not be the one for you. But I was really connected to the motivations of each side as a whole, and I found that I didn't really hate any of the dogs in the fight. And the only characters that I saw as antagonists were Carr and Devers. Everyone else, when I was in their POV, I was kind of rooting for them to win, only to flip to an opposing POV and then begin rooting for them to win instead. It was, in an interesting way, weird. Also, the combatants on both sides of the conflict have very similar issues with the Republic, which was kind of almost tragic. Like, there was no need for this loss of life to have occurred, which is a theme that some of the shock troopers reflect on during the fighting. But the bloodshed couldn't be avoided if the Republic was to be toppled, and a lot of people hated the Republic enough, and rightly so, to be willing to take that heavy action in order to usher in a new empire.
Your new empire?
The traitors are under the command of Goth Solus, an enigmatic leader, to say the least, whose own people are terrified to even speak his name, and who are willing to die in Operation Downfall rather than live and return to Solus as failures. Their force is called the Black Fleet, and it is comprised of just 3 ships, but they are stinking huge, dude. There is the Imperator, which is the flagship, the Terror, and the Revenge. And they, like I said, they're huge. They completely dwarf the Republic's destroyers and carriers. The Black Fleet, on top of having never before seen massive battleships, brought new fighters, referred to Tri-Fighters, to the party. Despite pulling up shy of their target, and that was in order to remain outside the range of a planetary railgun that can take out a destroyer with a single tree trunk-sized round, and them launching a surprise attack, the battle is far from one-sided. They do not get the drop fully on the Republic, and the Republic forces put up a decent defense. And if it wasn't for Goth Solus being a Darth Vader on steroids, well, let's just say the dude is bad, capital AF. Speaking of badass, the Shock Troopers, which are essentially just a Black Legion, as they are ex-legionnaires, are not to be confused with Stormtroopers, because these MFers can hit their targets and hit them hard. Devers is a piece of shit, and that actually works out for us, the reader, in this one. That brings me to the politics of the story. It's politics that makes everyone hate the Republic for the most part. The Republic is very reminiscent of modern day progressive quote-unquote democracies, ran by people who espouse sensitivity and inclusion, but who are as selfish and corrupt as the day is long. Now, at first, I got kind of worried that this might actually date the story, but then I took a second and thought about it, and I don't see why it would. It's not like there aren't plenty of enduring stories out there that modeled parts of their setting as allegories of real-world governments and movements. The Empire in Star Wars mirrors the Yahtzees or elements of the Crusades in Dune. Why should our pseudo-virtuous ruling class get a pass? It's done well, it's canonically consistent, and it's believable. All in all, Attack of Shadows marks a pivotal moment in the galaxy, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what comes next. That's all I got for this review. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to pick the book up, click the link in the description to head over to Amazon and order it. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, so if you are a KU subscriber, you can add it to your library for free. If you're still watching, thank you so much for sticking around. I'll see you next time, and have a great night.